From the slightest bend to complex motions, your body is made to move. At Houston Methodist Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, our teams are using advanced technology and imaging to develop custom treatment plans, and our minimally invasive procedures can help you heal faster. We have the expertise to keep you moving because every movement matters. Find the care you need at 20 locations throughout Houston. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
Christian's Tailgate Bar and Grill, voted Houston's best burger. Come by any of the 5 Houston area Christian's Tailgate locations and enjoy never frozen ground beef on a toasted bun with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, onions, and your choice of cheese. Your award-winning burger is then served with hand-cut fries or buttermilk battered onion rings. Each tailgate location is a large selection of draft beer and $3 shots. Come early for the game and stay late for karaoke. Christian's Tailgate Bar and Grill with 5 Houston area locations.
The following is a presentation of the Rice Sports Network. From Learfield IMG College. On the Rice Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, welcome to Rice Owls Insider. Rice Owls Insider is presented by Christian's Tailgate, voted best burger in Houston. Karbach Brewing Company, crafted for serious fun. IBEW Local Union number 716, and by Houston Methodist, leading medicine. Now, here's the voice of the Owls, JP Heath.
And welcome to another edition of Rice Owls Insider. We have a very special one to close out our series here. Coming up in just seconds, the great Adolfo Carvalho coming. He won a pretty big award earlier last week. And we'll also talk to the great Erica Ogwumike, this year's Joyce Pounds Hardy Award winner. And then what better way to cap it off with Vice President David Leebron. You can catch this on the YouTube channel. You might be watching us, but if you want to be a little bit more mobile, it's also available in podcast form as well. The typical podcast outlets, Apple, Spotify, and the others, you get that. But big thanks to Christian's Tailgate for sponsoring us this whole season that we've had. We've had a lot of different Rice head coaches, and then really excited to have this episode here today because it really talks about the greatness that is Rice. But joined now by a very special young man, this year's Bob Quinn Award winner. I feel big time because he started following me on Twitter. That's probably my highlight this whole pandemic. Adolfo Carvalho. Adolfo, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you, JP.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. And I always joke with the athletes, even though somebody kind of said, hey, do you mind doing this? But it does mean a lot that you're giving us your time. But one thing we've let off with everybody, and I've asked coaches this, so I'd be interested to get the student-athlete perspective, kind of walk through it, how even though you have such a great future ahead, I imagine it's been frustrating dealing with everything that's been happening. So kind of give us a condensed version, so to speak, the last 5-6 weeks, how it's been for you.
Sure. I mean, it's been weird. I'd say the best way I could describe it is like it feels like every day is Saturday almost. There's still work to be done. We kind of go out and are trying to stay in shape and get our work done. I'm in a good position because I was done pretty much. I really missed out on what I think could have been a great season. And it was a really sad end there to my career, I think. But I think I was in a better spot than a lot of people. But it is tough to stay motivated, and I'm proud of all my teammates and other athletes who have been pushing themselves to stay in shape and gear up for the upcoming year.
Yeah, I saw it a tiny bit from the basketball perspective because this is all breaking around when basketball season, obviously. And Coach Warren a couple weeks ago told me, hey, he was kind of giving us the rundown of what the track and field team was doing. But just from the athlete perspective, how tough has it been that you don't have that camaraderie? I know obviously there's still technology and social media, but how tough has that been for the student athletes?
It's really weird suddenly because in cross country, we do a lot of our summer training by ourselves, but it's weird having to train this long by ourselves and try to do these serious workouts. I think we're still trying to communicate, like you mentioned, with social media, but it is really tough having to, my teammate is one of my roommates, so it's nice that we can run together, but it's just the two of us, which is very weird.
So That's all great, but one of the big reasons we have you on is to talk about the big award that just came down. But discuss the Bob Quinn Award, how you felt. It's kind of the journalistic softball question for you, but what that meant to win such a monumental award that wraps up your Rice career.
Well, I gotta say I was blown away by it. It's such a huge honor to get that award because, I was sitting going to the Night of the Owl every year, and watching like all Americans and seeing in the slideshow past Olympians who have won it and everything, and then the tremendous impact all of those the past winners of it have had on the Rice community. It was I can't express how it feels to be considered among such great company.
Yeah. So do you find that out on Twitter? Does somebody give you a notice beforehand? Because I know they did it all virtually this year, of course. Just what was that initial reaction? And then what'd you do after that? You called Dad, or who'd you talk to after?
Well, Kenny Bybee kind of hinted at it when he was asking if I was available to do this interview. And so he kind of he mentioned I was being considered, but I was, my heart was still in my throat when they tweeted out the description of the award, and I was, waiting to see what would happen. But it was still, it was an amazing feeling, and it was a good evening for me all around yesterday. And I had my roommate and a couple of teammates here that we got to celebrate that, and then I let my parents know and all that. I've been getting some congratulations.
So you get that big award. Now let's set up why you got it. And I know you'll blush a little bit at this, but Adolfo recently completed his master's at Rice in space studies after he's an astrophysics and mathematics major, and was great on the cross country team as well. So I like asking athletes in different sports that I cover, but how tough was that? I read an article from the Thresher from a while back prepping up for you, and you just say you're constantly tired. I know that's a sentiment from the athletes so kind of walk us through, if it's even possible, how tough that was, that whole process.
You pretty much captured it there, and it is. I think that's the best way I can put it, is that you just kind of get used to pushing to always be the best you can be through being tired and staying motivated to prioritize school and athletics and understand that you have to judge, do you want to give that extra hour to that problem set, or are you going to get that extra hour of sleep? What does tomorrow's practice look like? And you're always trying to balance that a little bit and make good choices there. There's a lot of sacrifice involved, but it's really fulfilling in the end. And but it is incredibly tough to be able to balance and know when to try to navigate that.
In some pre-prep before we started recording, I found it fascinating. So if you don't mind telling the tale how you obviously had the pick of a lot of great institutions to go to, why you chose Rice, and how it ended up your very accomplished father and your family ends up, I guess, just down the road, I-10 a little bit, huh?
Yeah, no, it was, so I picked Rice because it just felt like the perfect fit for me. It was, when I started running, I started feeling like I could do something good in the sport. And I set as my goal, I'm going to go to a top academic institution. I know that's what I want to do. And I want to compete at the Division I level. And Rice is one of the few schools that really, really lives that on both sides of things. So when I visited, I felt like I was home, and I just knew that was what I wanted to do. But when I was picking schools, so I was up in Baltimore, Maryland. My father was an assistant professor at Notre Dame of Maryland University there. And when I was picking schools, he was kind of sad that Rice was the second furthest away school I could have picked in my list. And he was like, okay, if that's what you got to do, he was pretty sad about that. But then he got a job a year after my first year at Rice, and moved over to San Antonio. Now he's a professor at University of Incarnate Word at their new School of Pharmacy. And so now he's closer now than he would have been had I picked almost any other school.
That's wonderful. Obviously, we talked a little bit earlier, your track season was cut short. Captain of the cross-country team after initially earning that spot. You're a grinder. No surprise, you started as a walk-on, but then moved your way up. And Coach Warren was telling me about that when we recorded this same type of podcast. What did being on we already talked about the grind of it, but what did that, I guess, instill in you? You're obviously an athlete before coming here, but what did being on the track cross-country team help in the studies? Is that, you get the question I'm going at?
Yeah, for sure. It reinforced in me the value of hard work. Having to, work my way onto the team. But I always argue that I wouldn't be the physicist and astronomer and researcher that I am were it not for what I've learned in the work that I put in track and learning to, push through setbacks and just be patient and wait for things to pay off. And when you're like, I've been working on a paper now, that has gone through, I've been doing edits and drafts on it for like a year and a half now. But, and I'm used to, 2-year buildups in track to accomplish what you want. And that, so keeping that motivation and always working through things and understanding that if you're patient and you just keep doing that little bit of work every day, you can do big things in the end.
Adolfo Carvalho joining us here on Rice Owls Insider. Appreciate you tuning in. So if that's not enough, you also got the Fulbright Fellowship earlier in the month, deals with space and how you'll be able to go to Chile for 9 months. The Thresher article said to conduct research on protoplanetary disk in Chile. So two-parter, what did that feel like when you get another prestigious honor like that, but also what led you to that very unique field?
So it was a really also incredible feeling getting the Fulbright, because it was the culmination of like six months of preparation for the application and everything, and putting together a good project and reaching out through an astronomer at Rice who had collaborated with an astronomer in Chile to make that connection. It was a lot of work, and I was honored to be considered that the project was given that merit. But the project itself is something that interests me because these protoplanetary disks are where planets form around young stars. So understanding them, their structure and their composition, how we get organic molecules in them and stuff like that, and where those actually appear in the disk, can help us understand better how our solar system formed and how life could have found its way onto Earth. So studying these can be really valuable. And the telescope that is used to actually get some of the best observations of these is the Atacama Large Millimeter and Submillimeter Array, the ALMA telescope in Chile. And that's kind of where that connection came, is that I'm going to be able to study these with the people who work with some of the best data that you can get on these disks, and collaborating with one of the top astronomers in the field here at Rice. So that bridge is going to be really valuable to building up my study in that area.
So obviously you want to stick in astronomy, I'd imagine, and a lot. I mean, you're going to be great at whatever you decide to do, but in that field is like, what else do you want to do, or what are some lofty aspirations even for an accomplished guy like yourself that you want to accomplish?
Sure. My big career goal in astronomy is to achieve a position in a research institute or a university, like a professorship type position that is secure, like a 10-year track, that can just let me continue doing the projects that I want to do and continue receiving grants and stuff, so that I can do the astronomy research that's always inspired me since I was a little kid.
I know you'll be great at it. Finally, I had to ask you this. You're obviously a shining example of how you can compete. You mentioned that athletics at the highest level, like at Rice, but take full advantage of everything that's available. What would your message be to other, I guess, even Rice student athletes, but just how this time has impacted you and your future?
Thank you. I'd say you can do anything that you push yourself to do if you just have faith that things will work out and keep working toward it and pushing yourself to be better each day. You'll surprise yourself in the end with all the things that you can accomplish. But don't lose the faith, and understand that sometimes things take 5 years, 4 years, 5 years to happen and to come together. But they do in the end.
Amen to that. Hey, thanks for what you have done and will do representing Rice University. Congrats again on the Fulbright and Bob Quinn Award and just everything. And can't wait to follow your career in the future. It's very fascinating stuff. Thank you, Adolfo.
Thank you, JP.
Appreciate it. Stay tuned here. More on Rice Owls Insider. We go from one Rice great student athlete to another. Erica Ogwumike, stay with us next year on Rice Owls Insider.
What do you do when you need safe, reliable corporate transportation? You go Win. Win Transportation is one of the largest group transportation providers in Texas, a leader in charters, shuttles, and special events of all sizes. 5 people or 5,000. Win offers customizable team transportation with a wide range of motor coaches, minibuses, and vans. So, for safe, reliable corporate transportation, do like the Owls and go Win. Book at gowin.com. GOWYNNE.com.
Hey, Papa John's here. Who wants a boring sandwich when you can have our new Papadillas at Papa John's? 4 exciting flavors, just $6 each. You're going to love it. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's, Houston.
The lights, the sounds, the cameras, the electricity. If you can feel it, hear it, see it, chances are an IBEW electrician built it. The members of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 716 built the things that make Rice University and Houston great. When your next construction project needs to be on time and on budget, it's time to hire IBEW electricians. Learn more at IBEW716.net.
Beer needs baseball and baseball needs beer. Good thing Little Woodrow's has plenty of both. Right in the heart of Rice Village, relax over indoor and outdoor games, sports, and drink specials that even college students can't refuse. With weekly trivias, bingo nights, and fun events, there's always something to do at your favorite local watering hole. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on all our upcoming events and specials. Little Woodrow's, the official Rice Owls game day headquarters.
At Smart Financial, we think your banking experience should feel like a home run. Since 1934, we have prided ourselves on providing hassle-free services with a game plan that focuses on people, not profits. If you live, work, or go to school at or around Rice University, text RICE to 276-278 to become a part of the winning team. That's RICE to 276-278. Smart Financial, proud sponsor of Rice Athletics, federally insured by the NCUA.
Welcome back to Rice Owls Insider and the voice of the Owls, JP Heath.
Welcome back on Rice Owls Insider. What a treat hearing from Adolfo Carvalho. Just an amazing story about perseverance here at Rice. Another one with Erica Ogwumike right now. And then we have President David Leebron joining us to talk about athletics and about Rice's response to COVID-19. This year's Joyce Pounds Hardy Award winner announced recently, the great Erica Ogwumike. Erica, how are you?
I'm doing well. Can't complain. I'm safe in Houston, Texas still. My family's safe, and I'm just trying to, do my due diligence to stay inside and things of that nature.
Yeah, one of the things I asked Adolfo, and I want to get your reaction too from the student-athlete perspective. I've been asking, I've had all the coaches on, and we talked to Coach Langley a few weeks ago just about their response, but just, how tough has it been dealing with all this and what you did? I was getting set to call your Conference USA tournament when everything broke out initially. So how tough has it been dealing with it since then? And now that you've gotten used to this kind of grind routine, how has that been?
It was tough in a way because it was just so abrupt. But I don't think anyone, including myself, was ever upset just because I instantly knew that it was just much bigger than basketball, much bigger than sports. But I guess just like having the formal goodbye, being able to say bye to your teammates, just know that this is your last game. Yes, that part was missing, but in all, it took a while to just, actually understand it's over, but I've been fine. I still keep in contact with my teammates and everyone at Rice, so it's been a pretty easy transition.
What was your reaction winning the Joyce Pounds Hardy Award, such a prestigious award as the top female student athlete at Rice?
I mean, I was just so humbled, so blessed, to be honest. Coming to Rice, I didn't know that I would even be a contender for an award of that caliber. And honestly, I have to credit it to my teammates, my coaches, every single professor I've come in contact with, President Leebron, just everyone who has helped me along this path. It definitely was a team effort to get me to where I am right now. So I'm just so grateful for everyone.
You've received so many individual accolades, and obviously the team has done historic things at Rice, but is the Joyce Pounds Hardy Award up there? For the individual honors you've had, is that at the top, near the top? I mean, that has to be very fulfilling.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's definitely at the top. I think a lot of what people, I guess, would consider unorthodox awards are definitely ones that really are near and dear to me, because it just shows like a testament of a true student athlete, just like a well-rounded person. And honestly, those mean a lot more than the purely statistical accolades that are still great to get, but I don't know, I just feel like they're more poignant awards like this. So yeah, it's definitely up there.
Just a whirlwind of emotions the last few weeks. And you talk about how busy that they've been with, you get drafted, you get traded that same night from the Liberty to the Lynx, and just how that all is set in now that it's been a little bit since the draft. How has that all set in for you?
I mean, it's been a whirlwind. Like, I felt like I've lived a different life just during this quarantine time period. It's just an amazing opportunity. I didn't really know that I was going to be a contender as a WNBA draft pick. I think I knew in the back of my head, but I didn't really know until after the season ended and, things started having to get cracking. But it's just been an awesome experience just to be able to say that I've kind of competed at the highest level, or just like achieved the highest level athletically, and then also at Rice academically and in medical school. So it's just an awesome testament. And honestly, like I said, I just have to credit everyone who's helped me, and especially just Rice University truly crafts out amazing student athletes. I wouldn't have been able to do it if I didn't go to a school like Rice.
Yeah, perfect timing, and it represents a perfect shirt that you have on there as you took advantage of every opportunity that Rice gave to you, and all the success you had on the court, well documented, but you took academics very, very seriously, and that's an understatement, pre-med, and been accepted to all the 9 different medical schools, right? So
yeah, the cat's out the bag. I didn't know everybody was going to know how many, but one article started it. Now everyone knows.
You get in the limelight, you see how it goes, yeah?
Yeah.
But what's that mean to you? I mean, you've done this, just doing that and being at a great school. If you were a business major, that would have been just so phenomenal. But balancing that with med school, maybe to come in the future, I'd imagine that has to be extraordinary too. Yeah,
med school's for sure happening. I mean, it's just awesome because I don't think many people assume student athletes would go about the pre-med path. At Rice, it's not unorthodox at all, but I think at a lot of other institutions it is. And it's hard, I will say, but I think it's just amazing to just show, like, when you have multiple passions, how you can still do them all and how everyone is willing to help you. Every single time I was nervous about telling people about playing basketball at the highest level, med school at the highest, or med school, which is pretty much like one of the highest levels of academia. Every time I would tell someone, I would be nervous, but every single person at Rice was just so supportive, and they were like, why not do it all? And I think that just gave me the kind of the fuel I needed throughout my 4 years at Rice to be able to, sit down and do homework after a long practice or while on the road.
I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about your family. Obviously, it's well documented, but being the little sister in such a legendary family and basketball family, how did that prepare you for all this, seeing that greatness beforehand, but at the same time, you carved such an amazing niche yourself?
Yeah, I mean, they've just been motivation for me. I've never strived to be them, but I've strived to like kind of do things that they've done, but in my own way. And I think that kind of gave me an edge a bit, because I've been able to see these amazing women who are competing at the highest level athletically, but at the same time are using their platforms in other ways, are growing every single year in their game. And I was just like, I have no excuses, like whatsoever, you know? So it was definitely just a motivation for me. And then of course the support from them has been just amazing and endless.
You studied abroad in Spain, and I guess I did not know that from the much I'd studied, but I was looking at some other bullet points. You did
really?
that. Yeah, so what? When did that come about, and how did that round you out for obviously the success you've had now?
I mean, I honestly think that was one of the best experiences that Rice has given me, to be able to study abroad. You don't see many athletes in a pretty much year-round sport like basketball having the opportunity to study abroad, and Coach Langley just knew that I'd be able to do it. And she let me miss pretty much most of the workouts that summer. She was like, I think you'll be fine. And like I tell people, like I statistically had my best season ever after that one. So she knows everything. But yeah, it was amazing. I studied abroad in summer of 2018 in Pamplona, Spain, and it's part of my majors. Spanish is one of my majors. So I needed to study abroad if I wanted to complete it. And I studied at a medical school there, and I just lived with a Spanish family, had to sign a contract to only speak in Spanish for like 2.5 months. So it was definitely a culture shock, but I loved it. I learned so much. I learned that like I care about cultural competency, you know, cultural humility, and I kind of want to continue that whenever I do start studying medicine. And yeah, it really just opened me up to a whole new world, and I'm like, that's what Rice is meant to do. So I'm just really.
And you're obviously go down as one of the greatest players in Rice basketball history, but the lasting impression you've made, not only with Rice basketball, also the university. What would you tell your other teammates now? You probably already told them, but just anyone that might not know everything about Rice University, how Rice has changed you and benefited you for the long haul here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would just tell my teammates or just anyone at Rice, like, just work hard, embrace every opportunity, every class, every situation that you're in, because you're probably going to be in a room with someone that's extremely bright and just can teach you so much. So just embrace every opportunity, even if it feels uncomfortable, you know, because Rice is an international institution. We get people from everywhere. And work hard. I think all the professors at Rice, all the administrators truly see value in someone who works hard and is consistent. So doing that, I think would, even if you don't get the best grades, you know, because school's hard sometimes, I think just working hard and being consistent definitely will show in your reputation, and people are going to be there to help you along the way. So that's kind of what I would say. But Rice truly sets you up. You have to put in the work, but Rice wants everybody to succeed.
And I'd be remiss, finally, if I didn't ask you about our upcoming guest. He's kind of a big deal around campus, President David Leebron. Because you kind of alluded to it earlier, but just your association, was it a part-time job or an internship you had a while back, and just what President Leebron's meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, I always was interested in like student government, student organizations. I was senior class president in high school, but with basketball, I never really got to, tread those grounds. And in my 5th year, I had a lot more time. So I was able to work in the president's office and just like understand executive operations, how an administration functions, the research that goes behind it. And so I got to work with President Leebron and also other administrators in that office. And I mean, the best president of this university, of any university, I may be biased. And he taught me so much. He just, not just taught me how it actually runs, but at the same time, he just taught me just how to talk to people, how to understand the nuances of every situation. Just such a level-headed individual. And I come in the room and I'm just like, hey, what are we doing today? Blah, blah, blah. And he's just, he holds me down. So it's awesome. And he's just an amazing mentor. And I'm happy that I've had the little time to get to know him. And yeah, I've learned a lot this past year.
As if y'all didn't know already, she is more than an athlete, the 2020 Pound Party Award winner. Erica, you're the best. Thanks for what you've done to Rice, and continue to represent Rice when you're out there saving the world even more. I appreciate the time joining us here.
Thank you for everything, honestly. This might be my last Rice interview. Sad.
We'll get another one. We'll find a way to get another one. All right.
Yeah, I'm always available. Just let me know.
Yeah, thanks. Stay tuned more. The aforementioned President David Leebron joining us next year on Rice Owls Insider.
With Houston Methodist Virtual Urgent Care, you can skip the drive and the waiting room and connect to our board-certified providers from your computer, tablet, or mobile phone. Virtual urgent care visits are available 24/7, no appointment needed, even on weekends and holidays. Now you can get the same trusted care you expect from Houston Methodist, wherever you are, whenever you need us.
To learn more, visit HoustonMethodist.org. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
The Wyndham Houston Medical Center Hotel and Suites is the preferred hotel for anybody visiting the Medical Center, the Museum District, or Rice University. We offer the largest suites in the Medical Center, complete with full kitchens, and our full-service restaurant and outdoor pool will make your stay complete. We look forward to having you experience the Wyndham Houston Medical Center Hotel and Suites soon. And if you need a group rate or need 10 or more rooms, don't forget to call 713-528-7744. That's 713-528-7744.
Big trip on the horizon? Before you depart, you gotta park. The Parking Spot is a simpler, easier way to navigate airport parking, and you can save when you book online. You're guaranteed a spot, and we even pick you up at your trunk in our yellow and black spotted shuttles and take you straight to the terminal. Parking and saving come full circle at the Parking Spot. The Parking Spot, proud sponsor of Rice University. Visit theparkingspot.com to reserve your spot today.
Beer needs baseball and baseball needs beer. Good thing Little Woodrow's has plenty of both. Right in the heart of Rice Village, relax over indoor and outdoor games, sports, and drink specials that even college students can't refuse. With weekly trivias, bingo nights, and fun events, there's always something to do at your favorite local watering hole. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on all our upcoming events and specials. Little Woodrow's, the official Rice Owls game day headquarters.
You're listening to Rice Owls Insider. Let's rejoin JP Heath.
And welcome back here on this final edition of Rice Owls Insider. Remember, you can catch it on Apple, Spotify, and the Rice Athletics YouTube channel as well. I am joined now by, if my research is correct, President David Leebron, soon to celebrate his 16th anniversary at Rice. Did I read that correct?
That is hard to believe. End of June will be 16 years.
In this next segment, I should say, we're going to talk specifically about the COVID-19 impact on Rice. But I've been asking all of our guest students and coaches just how you're doing, just personally. How are you and your family doing in this crazy 5 weeks and slice of life we've had here?
Well, we're doing well. Both of my children are college students, so they're also at home and have completed their classes online, and now they have some exams and papers due, which is really the same situation as all the Rice students. And we all miss the interactions of campus. I'm on campus almost every day, taking a walk across the campus, but it's not the same, of course, without our students, and the vast majority of our staff are gone.
We've got a lot to cover in this first segment. We're going to talk more on the athletic side of things, but I think I've asked you this in the past, and I've heard you comment on it, but how does Rice Athletics contribute to the overall mission of Rice University?
Well, I think it fits in well with, our mission statement, and I've sort of reduced, I wouldn't say our mission, but what Rice is about three things. We're about excellence, opportunity, and impact. And I think athletics at Rice represents all of those, and most importantly, in the students that we recruit to the university. Just a lot of extraordinary students who've grown up being great athletes, and they want to go to a great university with great athletics. And so it really fits within that mission of the university. And then I think in terms of, it helps connect to our community. It connects to the alumni community. It gives us visibility in the city of Houston. When we're successful, it gives us visibility around the nation. So it contributes in a lot of different dimensions to the university.
Yeah, speaking of excellence, Rice Athletics recently announced the department awards, the highest honors given to Erica Ogwumike. She had some great things to say last segment. I know you couldn't hear it about her time in your office. It was so great, but she was, of course, the Joyce Pounds Hardy Award winner, and Adolfo Carvalho, the Bob Quinn Award. What does it mean to have student athletes like that represent Rice University?
Well, they are really what we aspire to. We want true student athletes, people who excel on the courts and in the fields, but also in the classroom. People who have high ambitions for their lives. And a part of those ambitions might be in professional sports, but they also have ambitions in what they can contribute intellectually to the world by serving others. And both of these students are such extraordinary examples. Since Erica interned in my office, I just got to know her really well. And I see with her what I see with other student athletes, the way participation in athletics often gives them a bit of an advantage in terms of discipline and time management and confidence and optimism. You can't succeed as an athlete if you start the task with pessimism or blaming other people or things like that. And I think this is one of the reasons our athletes in high demand. And, Erica is not just a person who delivers, she's a person who often, exceeds your standards, but just the spirit she brings. Everybody in my office was just thrilled to have her around and be working with her. She, as I like to put it, she has a smile that lights up approximately half the planet. And so she's just, to use the vernacular, kind of the whole package, I would say. And, I think it's great that she's been drafted and will have the opportunity to play professionally. And I guess, pediatrics is just going to have to wait for another couple of years, perhaps. But she's going to be an outstanding physician. She's going to make an incredible impact on the world. And I'm sure she's going to keep with her plans to be in medicine. I think, as you reported, I think she's been admitted to 8 or 9 medical schools. And when she told me that she said, I'm so surprised. And I said, Erica, you're the only one who's surprised. That's the kind of impression she makes. And, although I don't know Adolfo as well, his accomplishments are just up there. I would say that I think was he a double major in like astrophysics and mathematics, I think, and a master's degree in space studies, just got a Fulbright Award. I tell people that, astrophysics and mathematics, I think I could probably major in anything that we have at Rice University, except maybe astrophysics and mathematics. And he's been admitted to Caltech, which is really just the epitome. And so when you get to attract people like this, who have the skills and mindset of a top flight athlete, and the intellectual capability of somebody who can study at the very best programs in the country, whether Erica in medicine or Adolfo in physics and astronomy, that's what you want to achieve. And they are really, truly extraordinary, but they're not the only athletes we have that meet those kind of standards.
And what are your expectations for Rice athletics in the future? Uncertain times, obviously, but just on a big picture sense, what are your expectations?
Well, I think first and foremost that we conduct athletics in accordance with our values, and they're not going to be compromised, and that means we have true student athletes, and we have people we're excited to have. And so my expectations are, as we've seen already, excellence in the classroom and excellence on the field, and we hope impact on our world. And you can see that in part even on our board of trustees, the number of athletes who have been not only on our board, chairs of our board of trustees. They have been central to the university's success and image. And so that's what we want first and foremost. And so we'll construct what we do around our strategy, around our conference membership, around the schools we choose to play, with all that in mind. And we want to go back to having a baseball championship, and we want to go back to football bowls, and we want to continue the extraordinary success we've had in women's athletics at Rice. I think that's become kind of signature for us lately. If you look at almost any team, actually, the track team, the volleyball team, the basketball team, the swimming team, the tennis team, we've seen great success there. And I think that's really a great statement about the university.
And I think I might know a couple of these. I've been here 12 years total. But what is your favorite Rice athletics moment? And we're talking about coming up to your 16th year here. What's your favorite moment or moments that stand out to you?
Well, it's a lot of moments. And for me, a lot of the moments are actually more about the athletes than the events. And, certainly one of the most memorable was going to the Hawaii Bowl, winning the Hawaii Bowl, and then sadly being stuck in the airport Christmas Eve and then not getting back for Christmas, which I think was sad for our players, but the sense of community then, it was there. I met Calvin Anderson. I was like, who is this football player who amuses himself by solving Rubik's Cubes? Not only in front of him, which I have enough difficulty with, but behind his back. And my daughter had just given her a little present of a Rubik's Cube of only one color, a little difficult. And Calvin expressed an interest in trying to solve that. And so I got to know Calvin, and he's really been a friend since. And Gabe Baker was there, and my wife and I have gotten to know Gabe. And Gabe had bought a ukulele in Hawaii and was singing Over the Rainbow and the sort of Hawaiian kind of influence. And it was really, the whole experience was memorable. But then, the volleyball team beating UT, going to the Armed Forces Bowl with the Air Force flyover was an exciting experience. I would say there are a whole host of those. And, this year watching our basketball team, win the conference championship, and of course because of the personal relationship I had with Erica, but watching the whole team, Erica, Nancy, and others, and it's really when our students really come out, and I think that's what we saw, particularly with the volleyball and the women's basketball this year. We saw that connection between the student body and the athletes, and really saw how they stretch to achieve great victories. So it's really a whole, I think, host of those experiences. And then the last, I'll say, that's kind of memorable, going back a little further, a great duo, Chase Clements and Jarrett Dillard. And I was really happy to have the opportunity to recommend Jarrett for law school, actually. And he's been now a successful attorney. But so many times I remember being at those games, watching a pass and saying, oh, that's too bad he missed it, only then to realize he actually caught it. My brain said, it's not possible to catch that pass. And then look a second, so I assumed that he didn't, and look a second later that he did catch it. So those are a few of the great moments for me.
Yeah, I'm really glad you mentioned Chase and Joe. We just had them on another YouTube roundtable a few weeks ago, and Gabe, of course, just getting the national television exposure. But more coming up with Rice President David Leebron right after this on Rice Owls Insider.
What do you do when you need safe, reliable church transportation? You go Win. Win Transportation is one of the largest group transportation providers in Texas, a leader in charters, shuttles, and special events of all sizes. 5 people or 5,000. Win offers customizable church transportation with a wide range of motor coaches, minibuses, and vans. So, for safe, reliable church transportation, do like the Owls and go Win. Book at GoWin.com. GOWYNNE.com.
Hey, Papa John's here. Who wants a boring sandwich when you can have our new Papadillas at Papa John's? 4 exciting flavors, just $6 each. You're going to love it. Better ingredients, better pizza, better than a sandwich. Papa John's, Houston.
Christian's Tailgate Bar and Grill, voted Houston's best burger. Come by any of the 5 Houston area Christian's Tailgate locations and enjoy never frozen ground beef on a toasted bun with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, onions, and your choice of cheese. Your award-winning burger is then served with hand-cut fries or buttermilk battered onion rings. Each tailgate location is a large selection of draft beer and $3 shots. Come early for the game and stay late for karaoke. Christian's Tailgate Bar and Grill with 5 Houston area locations.
This refreshing message brought to you by Love Street Kolstyle Blonde. If you're in the mood for something new that's not really new and actually feels like it's been around the whole time, then take a trip down Love Street. This easy-drinking, anytime Kolstyle Blonde goes great with your favorite record and favorite people. It's a refreshing beer and a state of mind. But I'm just a voice on the radio. You should try it out for yourself. All you need is Love Street. Brewed with love in Houston, Texas at the Carbach Brewing Company.
At Smart Financial, we think your banking experience should feel like a home run. Since 1934, we have prided ourselves on providing hassle-free services with a game plan that focuses on people, not profits. If you live, work, or go to school at or around Rice University, text RICE to 276-278 to become a part of the winning team. That's RICE to 276-278. Smart Financial, proud sponsor of Rice Athletics, federally insured by the NCUA.
Welcome back on our final segment of Rice Owls Insider. It's been fun doing those here as we kind of dance up into the border of summer here in place of those Matt and Braga shows. By the way, thanks again to Christian's Tailgate for sponsoring those. And we talked a little about sports on the athletic side of that last segment with almost 16-year president David Leebron. Now we talk about COVID-19, its impact on Rice. It's an understatement, President Leebron, that it's disrupted the university's operations, but you all have responded swiftly to serve students and the community on a lot of fronts. But what are some of the major changes you've seen here in the past couple months?
So it's really been an amazing transformation. And, you know, you learn a lot about your community in a crisis like this, or maybe I put it differently. You learn whether those things you thought about your community are really true. And the way our communities responded, the way the faculty responded, our students, our staff, really to come together and make sure we could keep everybody safe and we could deliver a quality education to them. And so our graduating students could complete their education and our non-graduating students could complete their semester. And that's really been the critical thing. You know, I walk on the campus almost every day. The squirrels are busy looking for some new friends.
Yes.
And our students, I know, miss the campus terribly. My Instagram and Twitter postings of videos of the squirrels have been among the most popular. But really this transformation into an online university. But, you know, what we've learned is that students crave that sense of community. They want to be together. And so we know we have this fantastic capability, which I'm sure we'll use more in the future. But we also see that it's important that we have the on-campus experience for our students as well.
And so much happened so fast, but what were some of the factors and consideration that helped you make the necessary decisions during such an unprecedented time?
So we were really making decisions day to day, paying attention to what the CDC was saying, what the city was saying, what the county was saying, what the state was saying, talking to experts and following events. And, you know, our number one priority, for which we compromise nothing, is keeping our students safe. And I think what we did that turned out really well is we made a decision we didn't have to make, but served us really well, which is we canceled the last week of classes before spring break. And when we did that, we said, you know, we think you're going to be able to come back, but we're not sure. And we want to have the time to move to an online format and give the faculty time to prepare. And I think that really laid the ground for us. I will say that one thing that kind of helped us is our experience with dealing with crises. We do periodically have a hurricane in Houston. And so we're used to dealing with crises. We're used to dealing with things that might shut down classes for a little while. And so we had a great crisis management team and could really respond very quickly. We did have one early case on campus of COVID-19, and that spread nowhere on the campus. And part of that was our very fast reaction and the amazing cooperation, again, of our staff and employees and everybody else. So we're practiced in social isolation and things like that. So a lot of things came together. I'm really just so proud of our community, so proud of the workers on the campus, our crisis management team, the folks in our dining halls, our police force, the folks who help our faculty and research. They just all really stepped up.
You mentioned some about that response in the crisis management, but you obviously have been an active participant in the COVID-19 response, but can you share a few stories or a couple that stand out that you're particularly proud of?
Well, as I say, everything's kind of becoming a blur at this point. It's been so fast. But what I'm proud of is the values and the compassion. And so, we gave the students a lot of notice in terms of moving off campus, right? We didn't just say you need to get off in a few days. We took measures to make sure that international students or other students who might face challenges in completing their classes in their home environment, that they could stay on campus. Those are the things I would say that I'm particularly proud of. It's making sure in a crisis that your values guide you. We like referring to ourselves as a community of care. And I think we just really saw it. The thank you letters that I've gotten from students and parents and staff and others about how we collectively handle things. Those things are just noticed. Do you handle them in a way just to protect yourself, or do you handle them in a way to make sure you're taking as good care of everybody as possible?
And so much is in flux, we know, but what changes can the Rice community expect in the fall due to COVID-19?
So we are cautiously optimistic about being able to reopen in the fall. We're in the process of making sure that we reopen in as flexible a way as possible. So if we need to make quick decisions, if people aren't comfortable sitting in classrooms, that we want to be adaptable to a wide range of people. But we expect to be operating in person in the fall, and we expect to make a series of decisions about how to structure the fall semester. And as it gets closer, we'll decide, are there certain limitations, as we had in the spring, about what kind of gatherings people can have. Again, what's more overwhelmingly, we want to keep people safe. And the last thing I would add to that is we've learned some good things out of this, right? We had a student, I had a video Zoom session this morning with the college presidents, and one of them asked, will we still be able to access student services of various kinds online? And she said, because there are actually some advantages to that. And so I think we're going to learn how to deliver things both in person and online. And I think people are going to find us a more resilient, more flexible institution, and we're going to be able to adapt, I think, more in the future to the individual needs of our students. And so, I never wanted to have a pandemic for sure, but we're going to come out of it having learned some things that make us actually a better university.
And finally, how do you suggest the Rice community can best support the university during such an unprecedented time?
Well, I think just giving encouragement to everybody you can. I think people would be surprised how much a difference a note can make to somebody. You send them a note and say, just thank you for what you did, or how you are helping the students. And I think the more folks can communicate, alumni and others, to our staff. And then I'll be candid, we're going to be in some very difficult financial times ahead. It's not just the disease we face, but the loss of endowment value and things. And we want to be able to maintain the support we have for our students. It was, less than 2 years ago, we announced the Rice investment, and we really want to remain committed to that. Our students are facing extra challenges. And so if there's an ability to support our student fund and enable our students to come through this as strongly as possible, that's great too. But I think what you really need in a crisis, you need that optimism and that enthusiasm and that sense of support and sense of community more than ever. And so whatever each of us can contribute to that is really welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate all you do for Rice University. The broadcast booth or table is open to you anytime, but thanks for the time here today.
Well, thank you so much for including me in this, especially in a segment with two such outstanding students.
Thank you very much to soon-to-be 16th year president of Rice University, David Leebron. But we'll be taking a break from these shows, but I know I share the thoughts of everyone out there looking forward to finally getting back to the routine at some point so we can get back to watching amazing men and women, the future winners of the Quinn and Pounds Hardy Awards, but carrying the blue and gray back into competition. But be safe out there, be kind, God bless, go Owls. And thanks for listening and watching Rice Owls Insider.
On the Rice Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, you've been listening to Rice Owls Insider. Today's show was presented by Christian's Tailgate, voted best burger in Houston. Carbach Brewing Company, crafted for serious fun. IBEW Local Union Number 716, and by Houston Methodist, leading medicine. The preceding has been a Learfield IMG College presentation on the Rice Sports Network.